All right, we are back with another instant reaction podcast. The Patriots stayed at 96, had a massive gap between 38 and 96, waited all the way to 96 to draft another player, and drafted Ronnie Perkins at 96, an edge out of Oklahoma, another guy who pretty consistently was mocked in first round mocks quite a bit. And the Patriots get him all the way at 96. Spags, what do you think?
Yeah, a lot of draft analysts and people had him in the top 50, top 60. So they obviously jump at the bit here and get a tremendous value. A little undersized for how they like their edges typically. I think he's projects as a 4-down player with tremendous upside. I'm sure they'll get some weight on him, make him a little bit more powerful off the edge. But another, like we talked about earlier with the D tackles, they add some more edge depth, get some more youth in there. Obviously spent big money on Judon. You have Winovich, Uche, who knows the plan for Jennings. So just loading up that defense, adding, a lot more depth and youth to it. So yeah, overall, I like the pick. I think it's a, disruptive pass rusher, has pretty good hands, and a good variety of moves to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you what, I think you mentioned Jennings. I think to me, this signals that Jennings is moving inside. I mean, why would you take another edge guy when, like you said, you have Uche, you have Winovich, you have Judon, you have Kyle Van Noy, you have all these guys that are on the edge already. And, and then Jennings is another guy. Now, maybe they think Jennings stinks, so he won't play, but like, barring that, it's like there's nowhere for him to go, right? And Perkins, like you said, he's too small to play on the inside. So it seems to me like Jennings might be moving inside, and they got another guy that can kind of get after the passer on the outside. It's possible Uche's moving inside linebacker too, but I feel like that's unlikely just because Uche's size. He's too quick to be inside linebacker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And what a long 2 days. I forgot how long these days are. Last night was so long, and then it was like so relieving, obviously, with the, they actually drafted a quarterback, and then up till 2 a.m. doing this. But
right,
yeah, I mean, I was interested if they went wide receiver. They looked obviously kind of had a feel they'd go defense just because the rich get richer. They just continue to add depth there, but no complaints here from that. Still some really good players on the board, and I guess we can kind of tie that into kind of a day 2 recap, kind of look ahead to tomorrow. There's still some really good talent on the board. Obviously, Elijah Molden just went 100. I'm a little bit behind, so I don't know. Obviously, Baron Browning's still on the board. Tylan Wallace, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, Obi's brother just went 101.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. That was a guy that I thought they'd have a lot of fit for. Can kind of do a lot. Physical player, plays with a high motor. I liked him a lot. But yeah, heading into tomorrow, Derek Barnes out of Purdue. I like him. He's kind of that. If you're looking for like a little Landon Roberts type in the later rounds, kind of a thumper in the middle of your defense. Maybe take a little bit of the load off Juwan Bentley. That's another guy. But yeah, some head scratchers. Davis Mills today. Kyle Trask. Some interesting fits there. Dwayne Eskridge, I liked him a lot. He went earlier than I think a lot of us expected to.
Anthony Schwartz went wicked early.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a guy who can run fast, right? But this is one of those things where, we've talked about for months now that, they had this massive gap between 46 and 96, which they made bigger by going up and getting Barmore. And you see what happens in this gap and the type of guys that go. And this is just the third round. But the guys that go in the third round, Jalen Mayfield, the tackle from Michigan, Brady Christensen from BYU, Aaron Robinson from UCF, Aleem McNeil, who D-tackle, they're not going to take a D-tackle, but Benjamin St. Juste, Josh Palmer, Chaz Surratt, Diami Brown, Amari Rogers, Nico Collins. So these are all guys that we had looked at and said we'd love for them to get any of these guys, and they all go in between that Barmore pick. And so I'm a little surprised they didn't move up to get someone. And look, maybe they just felt like we don't love anyone in this spot, and and whatever the case may be. I thought Chad Surratt would be a great fit here.
Still undersized.
He is a little undersized, which is true. So that's the thing. I guess that's kind of the question of about what you wanted. Maybe they don't need a wide receiver. Maybe they looked at it and said, our wide receiver room is pretty full right now. We don't need one. But definitely a ton of talent went off the board. in between those two picks, and you're looking at it, you're sitting there saying like, man, like, yes, I'm happy that they moved up and they got Barmore, but like, you see the guys that go after him, and you sit there like, Rondell Moore and Cosme and, so it's just, you start looking around, Dwayne Eskridge, even Nick Bolton, my guy is Nick Bolton. So like, he goes to the flipping Chiefs for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But like, Terrace Marshall, Pete Warner, like, so all these guys, you sit there and you start looking at it and you're like, man, like, I just, it stinks, right? It stinks where, you feel like you had an opportunity for some of these guys and they just kind of, I mean, they go over 50 picks, right? 58 picks in between selections, which is strange. Like, they don't often do that. So I was surprised that they did that.
Yeah, well, they used a lot of that ammo we talked about to move up, obviously, in the second. You could say it's an overpay, whatever. I love the Barmore pick.
Yes.
So no complaints there. But interesting to see what they do tomorrow. What do they have? A 4th, a 5th, 2 6th, and a 7th.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, this might be a really light draft class for them. Like we said, we talked about it kind of leading up. We'd be shocked if they made all 10 picks. They always move around. Will they move some of those picks? Typically, in the 6th and 7th to some more capital for next year. Who knows? Or do they use that to maybe move up in the 5th or whatnot? But I think overall, so far, between the 3 picks, they've addressed the positions that, we've identified as needs. And it's just, did you pick them in the right order, right? We thought quarterback was obviously number 1. We went into it saying you need a little bit more depth along your interior, and you could use some edge depth as well. But I think tomorrow, wide receiver, certainly a tackle, corner,
linebacker,
safety, one of them. Yeah, maybe linebacker too. I think they like their room, man. I do. I think, obviously adding Van Noy was big. You got Uche, Jennings, who you spent high picks on last year. But yeah, you could definitely use some more depth there. But yeah, interesting to see what they do tomorrow.
Yeah, no, we'll see, right? So just to reset it, they have 120, which is a 4th round pick, 177, which is a 5th round pick, 188, which is a 180 and 197, which are both 6th round picks, and then 242, which is a 7th round pick. So, 5 picks tomorrow. We'll see if they make all of those. We'll see. I don't know. I do think it's going to be interesting. Jamar Johnson's a guy who I really like a lot. Still hasn't gone off the board yet. So we'll see. That's another safety guy that
Aaron Browning and Jabril Cox too. Shocking.
I'm shocked that Cox is still there. At Browning, I feel like we at Pat's Pulpit, but you guys at Pat and me too at Pat's Pulpit love him. He was never high on really anybody's list anywhere. So like,
he was mocked in like the 2nd, 3rd round in some of these. And I know, like,
yeah, I know
whatever stock you want in those, but
right.
I think they see the upside.
Yeah, no, which is true. Which is definitely true. So we'll see, but there's a ton of talent still left on the board. And so we'll see what they decide to do. I love the idea of going after a safety, a deeper safety for me. And because, with safety, and that's a good point about corners pretty much maxed out as far as position wise, like on the field, as far as guys that are coming out, right? I like the idea of getting that safety because we don't know how long D-Mac's going to be around for, right?
And speaking of that, one of my favorite guys, Tyree Gillespie, he's a guy who plays that Devin McCourty role a little bit, big time special teamer, fits their mold, and he was likely a day 3 guy going in. So I wonder if that's a guy on their radar, somebody that can kind of do it all and develop into that kind of Devin McCourty role going forward.
Good point. Good point. So we'll see. There's still a ton of talent left on the board, even wide receiver. I mean, you start looking around about wide receiver, and you just think like,
Amon-Ra,
there's still guys there. The Sun God's still there.
Wallace,
Tylan Wallace, right? So there are still guys there if they want them, and so it's just going to depend on where they want to go, right? What are they targeting? What are they looking at? I think for the first 2 days here, I'm pretty happy. Right? I'm pretty happy. I mean, the Ronnie Perkins thing is interesting for me because I don't get the fit right now just because I feel like I almost felt like edge was a spot they didn't need. I mean, look, honestly, it's just one of those things where edge is edge, right? Like if you want to rush the passer, you just throw people at it and rush the passer. But they've obviously made a concerted effort to go up and bolster this as much as possible. And Perkins is just another example of that, where they say, hey, here's a guy that dropped. And maybe it's a situation where they said, you know what? yeah, Perkins might not have been the pick, but we're at 96, and this guy is, what, like our 40th rated prospect, and he's sitting here at 96. Like, how the hell do we pass on him?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a situation where they just said, well, we'll figure it out. Like, but we just bring in good players, and so I don't hate that idea. So how many times did Brady get sacked
A
when he goes to
lot.
fire?
Yeah.
So
He
quite a
doesn't
few,
get hit though.
hopefully.
He doesn't get hit.
He doesn't. You're right. He gets the ball too fast. You know what I mean? That's what happens. So, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I will say, speaking of Tom Brady, one thing that I thought was interesting, Kyle Trask.
Yeah, interesting fit.
Kyle Trask.
I was live with Fitzy when that happened. I kind of missed it.
Oh, I remember. I felt very left out, by the way. I'm just, you know what I mean?
Take it out with you're yelling at the wrong guy here.
You guys did all the legwork. You had the all the rookie thing. It was awesome. So you guys being on there was dope. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I thought that was a crazy fit. I wonder what their idea is there. I kind of said too, like, I wonder if Tampa goes quarterback, maybe they throw a dart and try to get somebody in there for however long Tom's got left.
Right.
Certainly some upside there. I'm not a big Kyle Trask guy, never was. I wanted no part of it. But who knows? I mean, maybe something pans out down the road and they got a little sit behind and learn from him.
Yeah, my buddy Josh Allen, shout out Josh Allen for Bucks Report. He mocked them Trask at 32. He said, the organization loves him, and they've been talking about how, he's heard basically from the organization how much they love him and how high they were on him. And he was like, they're taking Kyle Trask. He mocked him at 32. Obviously, he didn't go that early, but still took him at 64 instead. So, again, like you said, I don't really see it, but what the hell, right? I mean, like, if you're going to get the guy in there who's not super mobile, I mean, the guy you're going to learn from is Tom Brady. So
yeah,
if Kyle Trask is ever going to be anything, he's gonna
Kyle
be
Trask said dollar store
Mac
Mac Jones. Dollar store Mac Jones.
Right. I would agree with that. That's the thing, and I forget who it was. Someone said it, I think, on the stream last night, or maybe it was on Phil Perry's stream, but they were saying, Kyle Trask is what people accuse Mac Jones of being. He's a statue. He doesn't move. He's very, very immobile. So, it is what it is. So we'll see. Any other interesting takeaways from day two? Obviously, day two I feel like is the most important day.
I love it. It's one of my favorite days. The picks going quick. Kind of those players you fall in love with because you kind of have an idea how the first round goes to an extent. Yeah. You understand teams' needs and things leak out. But day two, I feel like it's just, hey, whatever's available, we'll address it. So it's one of my favorite days. It's long because, like I said, last night is just, especially with what happened, and you're sitting there on the edge of your seat the whole time after you know who was available the entire time, and then you get the quarterback. Everyone's you love it, you hate it, you're somewhere in between. You're talking about it, and then bang, day two comes and the picks are flying in. But a lot of movement, I thought too, like we talked about last time. Yeah, a ton of trades.
Goodness, it was wild. Oh, for God's sakes! 105 to Denver. Baron Browning.
Yeah, I knew he wouldn't last long. Good fit.
Well,
yeah, all these guys are coming off the board. Me and Keegan's big board, I think we're 0 for so far, and a lot of those guys were on there today. So
maybe that's the way it works.
We'll hit one tomorrow.
Listen, the stupid Packers ruined my Amari Rodgers rule. Every mock draft I did, I had to have Amari Rodgers.
I don't think they were going wide receiver there, anyways. But
no, probably not. But you never
know. Knowing how they have to take one tomorrow, right? There'd be 2 drafts. Like, come on, you got to take one.
You feel like you got. I mean, they did go. They went after 2 guys in free agency. I get that, but I still feel like they're going to have to go off the wide receiver tomorrow.
Slot guy,
yeah, yep. I agree. So that's to me safety, linebacker, wide receiver. I actually feel like that makes a lot of sense. And Jay Suave here is right about Goodell stealing number 77.
That's big.
An absolute joke. I mean, you think about it.
Probably lightens the load.
By the way, 77, Josh Palmer from Tennessee went number 77, just in case anyone was wondering. Josh Palmer, I loved him as a fit for the Patriots.
Yeah, I did a thread on him. He's a good player.
Yeah. So
terrible quarterback play. He's a lot better than what he shows.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Again, 5 picks tomorrow. Who knows if they're going to make them all, but they do have 5 tomorrow. Again, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. So, listen, stick around. We got one more day. We're going to do some more instant reactions. Who knows if they're going to be totally live like this, although they might be. You never know. But thank you for sticking in. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Last night was a lot of fun. Tonight was a lot of fun as well. And Spags,
Get some rest, everyone. I'm exhausted.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, me too. See you later.
Take care, guys.